Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just make a note that Councilman Robinson is absent tonight. Old business. Item number 1 is approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of March 5th, 2026 were provided for review, so I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 5th, 2026 as presented.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Pierce?
Yes.
Mr. Brungart?
Yes.
Mrs. Hatcher?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Kowalski?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item not on the agenda? Dan?
For the people saying I'm Dan Clemens, I live at 124 Bittersweet Lane. I'm your representative on the Leavenworth County Port Authority, and we had a meeting Tuesday, so I'm here to tell you what was discussed. First of all, the minutes and the treasurer's report that you've received are only tentative because we did not have a quorum to vote them accepted. So that'll come next week, but that's what will be submitted. So you've received a list of the projects. The first one I want to discuss is Project Vineyard. It's USD 469 only because that's in the Leavenworth Business Park off of Eisenhower. It's in the 469 area, but not in the city limits. Vineyard is a manufacturer in the international aerospace defense industry, and they want an existing building, but will consider one on a ready-to-build site where they can construct a 38,800 square foot facility, and that was submitted for there. So that's about all I know on that one right now. Project Morpheus is the next one. It was submitted both for USD 469 there in the Leavenworth Business Park and a private lot here in Lansing. So the people can choose either one. The way the Port Authority does that is they see that a size fit. They'll call the economic developer and say, will this type of operations work at this facility? It may be zoning and need new zoning or whatever, and if the city representative says, yeah, I think we can fit, then they get with the property owner and say, we have this type of business that's looking for the property and we think this property will fit. And if they say yes, then it's submitted. Well, on a private one in Lansing, that's pretty much where it stops with the Port Authority, because if they accept it, we're just more or less introduce the two parties together, such as what happened on Project Tunnel. They took that and then they came to the city for the planning committee, and now they're moving in and moving forward. If they own if the Port Authority owns the property, the next step for them is they step into the role of, my analogy would be like a broker, since we own the property and we go on, and there'll be one of those that I discussed tonight too. So Morpheus had two different sites submitted for their consideration, like I said, and that client is searching for a site to start manufacturing supercapacitors. It's an energy storage device, and they originally wanted a temporary site in Leavenworth, but they have dropped that requirement for initial production, and two sites for their permanent needs, one Leavenworth and one in Lansing. So, or LNS, I believe that's Lansing. So we haven't heard anything back from that one. So that's just for consideration. The next one is Project Mission. That's an ongoing project. And the piece of paper you were given, it's a Kansas City area developer working with a client interested in property in the Gary Carlson Business Center. So that's a USD 469 only effect, where they hope to build a 20,000 square foot warehouse working with with the city of Leavenworth. That is now in the public domain. So I can tell you that is the Thacker Machinery out of Texas. They build corrugated boxes, and they need a site up here so they can service the customers in Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, and Oklahoma from that site. And they are the ones that want to hire 50 high school students straight out of high school because they want to teach them the way they want business done. So they wanted a 15-day close period. They've already signed the contract. They've already submitted the earnest money. And so we're just waiting on the close date. And then they're moving ahead with that. So that's going to be approximately $70,000 a year property taxes that will affect the school. So the next one after that is Project Cobra. Project Cobra was a Lansing proposal. It's a consultant manufacturer components for industrial energetic in the aerospace defense industry. They need about 100 to 160 acres for a new facility and testing area, and it's privately owned. So I don't really have any update for that one. That one's still pending, and I've seen those last 4 years before there's movements on it. They may be getting funding done. They may be looking at other sites. They may be doing deciding, but it's just been submitted for consideration at this point. We don't know. Project Tunnel is a service operation, moving operations of property in Lansing Industrial Park. That one has been closed. They've moved in over on Industrial Way over there by the co-op, and they're the burrowing. They're the ones doing the burrowing underneath the streets and stuff like that. And that's where they got the name tunnel. So that's in the wind product, wind column. The one that I forgot to mark was Project Tribe. And that one was submitted as a Lansing one as well. And that client in the service industry is interested in expanding into the southern part of Leavenworth County, and we're working with the client on what their specific needs are. So right now we're under an NDA, so that's about all I can say until they decide, further what they want to do. Any questions?
Is that the one that the one by K7 and K10?
That's all I can tell you.
Oh, well, it says in the report, it says 90-mile radius, so
Yeah.
I would imagine the closer to that.
Yeah, that's the radius that they're
Yeah.
wanting to move into. Anything else?
Anybody else got questions for Dan?
Nope.
Dan, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep, Dan. And Mary, I think you're up. So please come up, state your name and address, and then address the council.
Councilman and council lady, my name is Mary Anderson, and I reside at 226 Oak Hill here in Lansing. My family and I have lived there for 34 years. We raised our family on this street. We paid taxes, and we done everything we're supposed to, maintain our property and so forth. This is my neighbor. He's going to stand up and give his name to the council.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I live at 309 Oak Hill Street.
I'll just run this down. Oak Hill is a family-oriented residential neighborhood like most of them here in Lansing. It consists of families with children, retired persons, and every other kind of thing in between. Over the years, we have had military families when they kind of were living in the community. And so I just want to say we have had people moving in and out of the neighborhood, but for the most part, people that live on Oak Hill have been there for a while. I'm here to address the issue of the Oxford Sober Living House that has been put up, I guess, at 218 Oak Hill, which is next door to me. I'll just say this, not that the homeowner needed to say anything, but nobody said anything to us about this. And Sober Living House, as you all probably know, is a residence for persons to maintain sobriety and such, basically. I've been in healthcare for 40 years. I don't have a problem with the sobriety issue, okay? That isn't what this is about. I did go ahead and check the county records of the property next door to me, and it's listed in what the county told me at courthouse. It's 2-bedroom, 3 baths, a full-size basement with 2-car garage, and listed at about 26 square feet. It's a pretty big residence. It has been rehabbed. It was rehabbed last summer. So the description may be different than what the courthouse told me. The plan is to have 9 male residents reside at this home. I found this out when I went to visit with one of the residents was raking leaves, and I went out and introduced myself, and he filled me in that this was going to be a sober living house with 9 male residents. I was surprised, to say the least. Until about 2 weeks ago, I'd never heard of Oxford House, but it's a huge organization, corporation. I think that's how they describe it. Some of the things that, since I don't know anything about it, I got off of their website. And basically what they say, and when you talk to the residents, they all say this. I've only talked to 2. I actually don't know how many are living over there right now, but they say it's a democratically run, self-supporting, drug-free house. Oxford is listed as a nonprofit 501c corporation, from what I read. Some of this stuff I'm not sure a whole lot about, but it's a big deal apparently. There is government money involved in these Oxford houses, and if you look it up, there's a bunch of them all over the Kansas City area. Olathe, Merriam, all over Johnson County, a bunch of them in Topeka, a few in Lawrence. I just looked locally. There is one, I understand, that has been started in Leavenworth for women. I don't know where it is. The resident next door told me this. Okay, so going on here. I hope I'm not boring you all with this,
No,
but
so
I'm
I mean,
just telling you what
I
what
would
I'm
say,
seeing.
what is your concern with the house? So I mean,
My concern is this. I live in I'll just state it for myself. I'm concerned about how this house affects our neighborhood. And I'm talking in terms of the value of our home. For instance, if I put up my house for sale, which I'm not going to do, but it's a family home, and they knew an Oxford house was next door, which they should know, by the way, it wouldn't sell, not to a family with kids and stuff. Now, when
You know this how?
I don't know this. This
Okay.
is what I'm concluding.
Okay.
I've looked it up. There is no information out there that tells you exactly how this works. But it does say, what little I could find, say your house will sit for a while. Of course, a lot depends on the market and all that kind of stuff. I want to talk a little bit about the what I learned from the resident and he seems to be the man in charge. Let me find it here. Okay, to be accepted to the Oxford House, the person must pass a clean urine test, and they have an application process that the people have to complete. And of course, they have to have a commitment to sobriety. And included in that, there's things they have to do within the house, attend meetings, these kinds of things. The house itself, from what I understand, they determine who's admitted over there, which is, the house is the people who are admitted there. They do pay a rent, and everybody is that has a job apparently. And I don't know anything about that, but they're a self-supporting group there. And from what I understand, if they have, it's a communal living type of situation. They put their money kind of in a pot and pay the bills, and then because it sounds like, from what I understood, they maintain the property. I will just say this: in my reading, most people, the Oxford House does a lot of good for people. Okay, as far as, and a lot of people say it saves their life, and that kind of thing, which we all of course want. There are people that have gripes about Oxford House, and there's some information about that on the internet. Like I said, I'm looking on the internet to find this stuff out. There is also a video on how to, it's kind of a pitch man telling, like, people that have rental property how they can attract Oxford House to get a lease for their property. There is money involved in it, but that piece I don't understand, and I don't. I see it as a business operating in the neighborhood, but anyway. I did ask the resident, who seems to be in charge, if somebody breaks sobriety or there's some problem over there. He says they kick the person out of the house, of course. And I said, well, if they don't have a car, or they don't have any family, are they just released into the street? It doesn't seem like very good discharge planning. And I don't know how often this happens. I get from the gentleman I speak to, who seems to be the boss, they do their best to pick the best people. Hope I'm not forgetting everything I was going to say here. Okay, I made an inquiry about licensing, and what I read was, this is listed as considered a group home, and a lot of group homes have to have license. If you have a group home for disabled individuals, mental retardation, people that in wheelchairs and such, there is licensing involved in that, of course, by the state, probably the city, and probably everybody else in between there. What I read regarding Oxford House is that they don't really have to have a license, because it's a self-run, peer-supported, sober living situation, but they're not offering counseling and that kind of thing like a commercial home, a house, where people
A group home, yeah.
kick the habit.
statute.
I can't think of the name of that right now, but
They are probably attending Alcoholic Anonymous AA meetings.
yes, I
Yeah.
did mention that. I think yes, so they had that's a
Sure.
requirement for their staying there, and they have meetings there at the house. He told me they
Not
have them
necessarily
every
just
couple
a
of-
requirement, but if they're going to stay sober, those meetings
Yes,
are
of course.
very important.
Yes. The whole whole thing, of course, is sobriety, whatever it takes. I did do some research about this, and people that are in addiction type of status are considered, well, I was reading kind of protected. They're protected under the Federal Fair Housing Act, and they also are classified under the ADA, the American Disabilities Act, which I did not know. I asked the gentleman who is the head of zoning here about this, and he told me that he read me a Kansas statute, actually, and now when I reread it, it talked about licensed facilities that are group homes. But I think that the way I was reading it from the internet, that the residents in recovery that are in homes like what's in our neighborhood don't necessarily fall into zoning type of laws. I mean, there's 9 unrelated people living in one house. I mean, they talk about that all over the place, but I get the impression that, they can't put more than 9 people in there is what the zoning, the head of the zoning department, I forgot his name, told me.
Josh Kinsler. He's right behind you. Yeah.
Excuse me?
I said Josh Kinsler. He's right behind
Guy
you.
standing back there.
Yeah, so,
Oh, all right.
so is it,
I'm sorry.
is your
head
discussion
today, a
tonight
coffee.
about not wanting to authorize that place? Because I don't think within this council and state laws that we can say that place can't go there.
Well, from what I'm reading, nobody can say that.
Right.
I mean, there's.
I mean, I think they're called sober houses, but they have a whole list of things that they have to meet. And, I was reading those to my spouse tonight. You have to pay your bills. You have to go to AA meetings. You have to meet curfew. You have to
They
do all
have
kinds of
house
stuff
rules. I
that
mean-
has all kinds of house rules.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, that's more than most residents have to actually keep. I mean, so it's pretty strict
Well,
for them
I
to be
talked.
in the house.
I talked to one person that I know does have a sober house living in their neighborhood. It's about the 6th house down from them, and she said that she didn't really know it was a sober house. She said you could see people coming and going, but then I don't know. Somebody said that's what the home was all about. I guess I'm not here to. I know that. I guess what I'm concerned about is the value of our property within the neighborhood, and I don't think I'm being unreasonable being concerned about that.
No, I don't either.
Have they done anything?
They've only been there 2
Yeah,
weeks.
it's only been-
Yeah.
I'll take my 3 minutes and real quick. Ryan Belshey, 309 Oak Hill Street. Me and Mary are in different walks of life. She's at near the end part of her life. She's more worried about her income and where her money's going to go on her property when she passes away, right? I have 3 daughters. You're talking about 9 men living across the street, and I have 3 daughters I have to protect. 9 men that are going to be coming and going. 9 men that if one of them breaks the law, another one will be moved in the next day. Tell yourself right here, do you want that in your neighborhood? Please ask that to yourself. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say, okay? If you have kids, is that way you want to raise your kids? Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And so
Unfortunately, I don't think this council can legislate whether or not that place can go in there.
thing is, too, I just want to make sure it's all zoned correctly, licensed and everything.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, sure.
Mayor, what I would say is that I think what we can regulate are, obviously, I think everybody understands the concern. State statute's going to trump. It's kind of like the supremacy clause, right? The state passes it. It's a uniform statute, so it's going to apply across every municipality, every county in the state. But I think where we can have a little bit of teeth if it becomes a problem would be if every person has a car and they're parking illegally on the
Oh,
street.
sure.
Those
Yeah.
we can still do that type of thing.
Well, we
It's
would-
just that we don't have any control, as you've already stated, over the control or the prohibition of passing
Yeah.
anything that says they can't.
I mean, if anything goes askew of our own ordinances, we
they're not
certainly
mowing the
will.
grass or they're not
Yeah.
keeping
Have the
property
police been
in-
called at all to that residence?
They have all kinds of rules
No,
about
not
that,
yet.
and actually, from what I've read, for the most part, that's followed. The residents of these places do try to do that. And when I spoke to the gentleman that seems to be the boss over there, he told me they make every effort to, be cordial to the neighborhood and all that. And like I said, they've been there about 2 weeks, give or take. And actually, I haven't heard anything out of them over there. I occasionally see somebody and wave, but there's a push to get more of these in the area, I'm being told, and I don't think I'll be the last person, if it happens in Lansing, that you'll hear from.
Okay,
So-
thanks, you, Mayor.
Anyway, I realized when I came here and I did my research, there isn't anything you can do about it. And if they're doing what they're supposed to, which I pray they do, everything should be okay. But it is still a factor as far as the property in the neighborhood and safety factors like my neighbor was pointing out.
Yeah,
So
and we appreciate you bringing it up because a lot of times we don't even know they're in the neighborhood. All of a sudden, unless we get a resident who brings that up.
Yeah. Staff
Unless
wasn't
there's a
the-
license or something that they require that they'd have to go to the city, we might not know about it. So we do appreciate you bringing it up.
did you have anything more? Okay, I think I've concluded my remarks. I want to thank you for helping me with all of this. And the gentleman back here, I want to thank you. Thank you,
All right, thank you.
Councilman and Council lady.
Mayor, I have a few things to say,
Okay.
all right? So, sir, you talked about 9 men living there. They're not sexual predators.
We
they're-
don't know.
What their local life
Well-
is. That's the other thing is too. I don't know if they're felons. I don't know if they've been paroled and been told to go to these homes.
They can't be. It's prohibited.
Right.
These sober living houses cannot have parole individuals. They cannot be on community corrections, probation. They can't be sexual convictions.
Right.
So those are, can things slip through the cracks? Of course.
Right.
I certainly understand your concern, but some of the things you're coming up with have already been
Do they
addressed
have
in the statute.
no aggressive criminal record? No felony criminal aggressive record?
I didn't look that deep
It's
into it, but
it's my understanding they can't have a criminal record. And I hope you understand that alcoholism is a disease.
We understand that.
Yeah.
We don't
My,
want-
both
that
of my
isn't what
both of
the
my
issue-
fathers died from alcoholism. I'm not here to talk about addiction.
Right.
I'm all for second chances, but I'm also here to protect my family and my
Understood.
residents and a lady that lives across the street by herself that's going to have to live next to now 9 men.
Well, I'm not-
That's what my
I'm not
concern is.
afraid
I could
of
care
that.
less if my house sells
I've
for
worked at the
$1.
DA for 35
I'm here for protection.
Absolutely.
I wanna
That's
say
the
this.
end of it for me.
They told me that they were going to have people from prison in there. Now, I don't know what exactly that means.
I mean, you can get released from prison and go right to a home. You don't have to be paroled. You can
but it can't be this home.
right. But do you still want somebody in your neighborhood that just got released from prison?
It's not about what I may or may not want. What I'm saying is this particular structure that you have concerns about, legitimate.
Okay.
It's covered by the statute. They are not supposed, and if they are,
My
they can
biggest
get
thing is
their.
I just want the city to make sure they're doing it legally, zoning, licensing. I think 9 people in a home is a little outrageous. You couldn't expect me to raise 9 kids in a home. You're gonna put 9-year-old men in a home. Seems a little outrageous.
Yeah, we can look into that. We have ordinances that, could,
I mean, fire codes.
yeah,
Well, thank you.
we'll make sure the home at least is qualified to actually be a home. Outside of that, Carrie, did you have anything else? Or?
No, I need to stop.
Okay.
Thank you.
We can also be aware if our police department gets any calls
Yeah.
to that residence, for
Yeah,
sure.
like I said, any ordinances that are broken in that neighborhood, or, yeah, sure. I'm with you. Okay, thanks, Jess.
I'll just say this, I'm hoping not to have any problems, and they do have a history of trying to go along in the neighborhoods. There's these sober houses all over the United States, and I imagine most of them are in some kind of neighborhood, so.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping too.
And
But
at
if there
this,
ain't,
and
then
at this
we
point,
can
there
take
ain't
care of it.
anything we can do about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Okay?
and I didn't figure there was, I just was
at this point.
voicing my
Yeah.
concern.
Mary, when you looked up these other Oxford houses, was that on the internet? Did you just Google that and find it?
Yeah, you can, and they have a website.
Okay.
Easily
Oh, and they're
Google.
on Facebook too.
Yeah, it's,
Oh,
they're everywhere.
Are you Mary Catherine?
Yes.
Okay.
I was wondering if you recognized.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen,
You bet.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming and speaking.
and thank you for helping me.
Okay, presentations. Arbor Day Tree City USA Proclamation. One of the long-term goals of Lansing Tree Board is to retain the status of Tree City USA. Lansing has been recognized as such for 26 years. On April 8, 2026 at 10 a.m., a ceremonial tree will be planted at Bernard Park. Representatives from the tree board will be present to receive the proclamation. So where's that tree board?
You're looking at, you're looking at him.
these right there.
Oh, Kevin's on the free
I was
board.
gonna say,
Get down there, Kevin.
Kevin,
One big board.
Get down there,
yes,
Kevin.
please. Are you good? Okay.
Yeah. So I will read this. So whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees. And this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Trees can reduce the erosion of precious topsoil by wind and water, cut the heating and cooling cost, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. Trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. The trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. The City of Lansing has been recognized as a Tree City USA by National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now, therefore, I, Mayor of Lansing, City of Lansing, in the state of Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 8th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the City of Lansing and urges all citizens to support the efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and support our city's urban forestry program, and urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations.
Thank you.
That's it? You're lucky you got that out.
Okay, new business. Item number 3 is contract approval for 2026 Inflow and Infiltration study. The 2026 investigative project will take place at Subbasin 1, generally defined by Emily on the south, and East Eisenhower Morgan Street on the north, and K7 East to K5. The 8-inch line that crosses the golf course will also be examined, but has minimal impact to residents. So I need a motion to approve the scope and fee of GBA for the 2026 Inflow investigation study in the amount of $251,700, base fee of $239,713, plus a contingency of 5%.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion on this? Tony's here for any questions you might have.
Tony, this is phase 3 of 5, and the same procedures as the first 2 phases. Now, have we learned anything from the first 2 that might help with the last few?
We've done a pretty good job notifying residents. So between the first year we did the study and then last year, we had a decrease in calls for just service interruptions with smoke and things like that. So we rented a couple extra message boards last year, which seemed to kind of get the word out better to folks. So I think that was our biggest takeaway.
No surprises underground though, or?
I think there's always surprises, but of a different flavor.
Yep.
Next week, you'll be briefed on what we found in 2025, and those results will be compiled with the 2024 data to kind of give you all a better idea of the capital costs that we're looking at going forward. So,
Thank you.
yep.
Oh, do you have heavy cleaning or root cut or anything called out specifically?
We do, as a matter of fact, lesson learned. We added 16 hours for both of those tasks, and because the golf course and some of the areas that used to have alleys are difficult to get to, we do have the ability to use an easement machine, so we can get to those without too much difficulty.
Cool.
Yep.
Anybody else? Okay, I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Brungart,
Yes.
Mrs. Hatcher,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Kowalewski.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passed. Thanks, Tony. Department heads. Tony, you have some?
Sure. Little quick update on Monroe Manor. While it's not a city project per se, it is it will be public improvements once they're accepted. All the sanitary sewer has been installed. Testing should wrap maybe by tomorrow. They're working on some of the last flow fill crossings that go across the street. It's my understanding, talking with the contractor and with Mike, that all the storm sewer has been installed, and the superintendent told me that potentially Monday they may start water line main installation. So shortly thereafter, they'll begin stringing for curbs and laying curbs and putting down asphalt. They're going to do a base, 6 inches, I think you said, Tim, right? 6 inch base,
6 inches,
and then leave the top 2 inches until everything's done. That way we can have fresh, pretty, top mix to go, on the streets when they're demobed and moved on. So that's really all I know as far as public improvements go. I just thought I'd share that with you guys.
All right.
So,
Appreciate it, Tony. Any other department heads? Taker, city attorney.
Another report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Tim, city administrator.
So there's actually been a few fun things happening around town. So we talked a little bit about the Ride LV program. The city of Leavenworth invited us to their work session earlier this week. We had a good discussion. Unfortunately, the grant to acquire a new, I think they're called breakaway bus or whatever, that grant isn't open until 2027, so we wouldn't get that vehicle until 2028 probably. But we are looking into some type of pre-owned vehicle that would be approved by the state of Kansas, and hopefully that could be an option. One thing that's changed from when we first spoke about this in 2024, I think at that point our annual costs for vehicle maintenance, drivers, things like that, I think at that point it was in the low 40s. I think now it's in the mid 50s. Does that sound right? Those of you guys who were there, I thought they said it'd be in the mid 50s. So, the cost for drivers, the cost of maintenance is going up. But our neighbors to the north seemed pretty receptive to expanding the program to Lansing. I think there's benefits to both cities if we do that. And I know some of you guys get questions about public transportation too. So that's moving along. If it expands to Lansing, like I said, for a couple of years, it wouldn't be a similar vehicle to what you see in Leavenworth. It would be an older, perhaps smaller, pre-owned vehicle. But
And this bus is dedicated to Lansing.
it would probably be dedicated to Lansing, yes. And it
But
would
it
have
would get the program started way faster than wait until
Till we get the grant
2028.
money and
Yeah.
correct. Yeah. Otherwise, we'd be waiting at
Right.
least 2 years for the grant. Again, just grateful to Leavenworth and the Guidance Center. They've been helpful throughout this process. Another thing that's really exciting and has big implications for Lansing, Senator Klemp is still working really hard on the State Department of Corrections donating that land that's in Lansing that's owned by LCF. They would potentially donate that to Leavenworth County to be used for an industrial park. It has rail access, and I don't think any industrial parks in Leavenworth County have rail access, so that would be a positive. I know a few of you guys have been out there. It would require a lot of dirt work, and so I mean that's it will take time in order for that to become an industrial park. But even if it takes 10 years, 15, 20 years, I think the county would be receiving the land for free. So there's a lot of benefits to that, and Senator Klemp has just been fabulous to work with. He's been very helpful, very receptive to ideas. So wanted to mention that.
I would just encourage anybody who hasn't actually been on site to take the Tony tour.
Yeah, just let Tim know, and I can coordinate with any of you, and we can get out there, and I can kind of show you where everything's at. So
We're still talking about land on both sides of K5 on the east and the west side.
I think the main part is on the east side. Like the area with rail access would be on the east. And there's a pretty steep elevation change. But again, I think everyone understands it would take work and it will take time. But again, just grateful to Senator Klemp, the Department of Corrections on that. So that could be a good thing long term for us. You guys all remember, hopefully, we have a joint meeting with the Planning Commission next week, 5:15, to talk about items with the comprehensive plan. Food will be provided for everybody, so we will take care of supper for you guys.
Well done.
Something. What's that?
I want my steak well done.
Don't buy.
All right.
We'll eat that before you come. All right.
Good
You'll
deal.
have pizza.
And then one last thing, just to clarify, a lot of discussion about paying for parking and things like that at the 4th of July. The shuttles are still free. The only spots that are being charged $5 for parking are the spots that are at the high school. But I mean, someone could still park anywhere else, ride the shuttles. That would still be free. What that money is going toward, I think, is a medical tent and a cooling tent. So it's not going into the city's general fund. It's not doing anything like that. Those funds are being used for tents that will help out our residents who are suffering with heat stroke or medical issues or things like that. So that's what the $5 is going to offset. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that because I think there's been discussion about it. So, anything else?
No, I don't have anything else, Tim. Do you? I will go to the council members, starting with Jesse, evidently. Because
I've got nothing, Mayor.
Tish did.
I've got nothing, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
I've got nothing, Mayor.
All right, Carrie?
After the last council meeting, I wanted to sit on this for a while and give it some thought. I know we had former council members speak and 2 sitting council members speak about the concerns of the page that was in the Lansing connection. And I'm curious to know if any of you guys, you mind me asking, if you went to Tim to talk to him, did that occur beforehand? Okay.
They spoke to me.
Okay. I don't know. I just think the city does such a good job of trying to communicate. And Kevin, I was really, for what it's worth, really proud of you for what you said. It just didn't sit right with me. And, I've known Tim since 2015, and he's just an upstanding guy. he's the kind of person that you yourself want to be like. And I don't know, as a member of the council sitting there and listening to that, it just almost sounded like, you know, there was a conspiracy, and it just didn't sit right with me, for what it's worth. And I'll move on from that. And then folks that came in and talked tonight, that was hard for me to listen to. Personally, I have a son that's an alcoholic. He is an upstanding citizen. He works his butt off. He's home for spring break this week. He has gone to, so far, 4 meetings. He is committed to sobriety. He's not a sexual deviant, as those 9 people, they're not. That was just hard to listen to. The word mental retardation was used. Didn't know where that came from. The word that should have been used was intellectually disabled. That word is just very offensive to most people, or it should be. I would encourage them to get to know those people that are living there. They might be surprised. I bet when we talk to people, I've got friends at church I've known for 10, 15 years, and one guy just found out he himself is a recovering alcoholic. And I never knew it. So, you know, guys, they're walking among us. Alcoholics are. And I would remind you that it is a disease. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, Gary. Rebecca.
I hope everybody had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. And I also hope everyone's getting over whatever illness is going around. I'll pray for you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. Kevin.
Dan, thanks for coming in and updating us on the LCPA. And I was going through the financial report, and I saw something that caught my eye under the general fund. And it says all operating departments within the budget are operating within the budget authority expectations, and the year-to-date expenditures across all the departments show a 4.3 decrease from last year. So, Tim, I'd like to say thank you to you, and if you could, the next staff meeting, relay that appreciation to all your department heads.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Gene.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in. I have a brother who's been an alcoholic since he was in high school, 40, 50 years. And I sit here and listen to what went on tonight, and I sit here and think, boy, if not for something like that, maybe he would have gotten over it. He's fought it for years and years and years. And these are the kind of things that help people. And this is America. And this is the land of second chances. That's all I have to say.
All right, thanks, Gene. Before we get to Jake, I'll just say that I appreciate them coming in. And like I said, like we would never even know that that home was there. We don't know what the regulations are. We don't know what the ordinances are. And I don't think they were being hostile towards them, although they mentioned their property taxes and their valuation might go down. I get some of that and the protection thing. They don't know what these homes are. And then all of a sudden you got, some folks moving into a home that's not a normal single family home. So I get their concerns, but it's our job across, the governing body to look at it and determine whether or not it's legal and whether or not they're following the ordinances. And I think that's really the concern that we need to care about. And I do agree with some of the stuff that Carrie mentioned as well, because some of those are, at least the group homes in the statute, have to do with people who are handicapped, which is totally different than a sober house, which I thought kind of doesn't actually meet the statute. But they're under a different category. So I appreciate all that, and I will go to Jake, who's last.
Hope everybody has an opportunity to enjoy the nice weather this weekend, and I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Yes, we do.
Oh, Jesse? Okay. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Call the roll.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mrs. Hatcher,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Kowalowski.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you.